they're literally pigs at this point, and I'm like, what in the heck? Then a frog comes out like he's the chef, and he slaps the shit out of the dad pig with a fly swatter, and he falls out of his bar stool. And then she just runs away. Like his dad just got the shit slapped out of him with a fly swatter from a pig.
Well, I don't think she didn't really believe.
Well,
from
because
a frog.
all the black spirits or whatever
Yeah.
spirits started showing
Yeah.
up.
Hello, anime fans, and welcome to That Anime Podcast for casual anime fanatics, where we talk all things anime in a fun and uncensored fashion for your listening pleasure. I'm your host, Jordo, and here with me, as always, is my co-host and baby brother, Brennan. We also have Colton joining us again in the studio. Brennan, what's new?
What's new? I'm officially 100% caught up on Attack on Titan to the most current one that dropped this past Sunday. I have started watching ReZero again with my girlfriend, the director's cut. So I think the difference with that one is I think the episodes are like hella longer. I'm not sure, but I haven't seen that one, so that's what I started. And then I've also started Dr. Stone too. So I'm making some ground on this anime
I was wondering
watching.
who the heck was watching Dr. Stone. I saw somebody was on
Started.
episode 9.
Yeah, I'm not
Damn,
getting too many
you
in.
should have let me know. We could all started watching at the same
Well, I
time.
figured you two already have, so sooner I
No.
I'm all
can
caught
get it
up.
in my system.
Now I need to watch it. Colton, how are you doing? What's new since last time we recorded?
I'm doing good. Not much has changed. Glad we could do the filming at my house today. But I'm looking for some new recommendations on some anime that I haven't got to watch yet. So if you have one, drop a comment on our Instagram page for us.
Please.
At That Anime Podcast.
At That Anime Podcast. Today we got a very, very fun episode planned. We're breaking this up into 3 different parts, basically. Part 1, we're going to talk about Studio Ghibli. Ghibli.
Studio Ghibli.
Specifically the movie Spirited Away. We're also going to talk about the old Big 3, which isn't up for debate. It's finalized. If you disagree with us, too damn bad, because it's out there. There's no debate about it. And the highly debatable new Big 3. And I'm sure that we all have different opinions on what they are, but you'll have to wait till the very end to get to that. I was going to try and do a little anime update for every episode. The thing about anime is there is so many shows and so much content. I literally didn't even know where the hell to start with what to present on our podcast. There's so much, but I got a couple things here. First one, you guys will both be excited about this, specifically Brennan because he's the gamer. Kimetsu no Yaiba, aka Demon Slayer, will debut a video game for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Steam this year.
So right off the gates, I'll say I haven't heard about that, but
Boom, so the update was worth it.
I don't have high expectations just from hearing that. Because where I'm going to go with it, which I've played all the Naruto Storm games, but I'm guessing it's going to be some kind of skin clone of that. Like My Hero One Justice, it was literally Naruto with the Boku no Hero characters in it. Same thing, probably made by CyberConnect, same company. But I don't know, maybe we'll see. Did it look like a fighting game or
It looked like it was
adventure
kind of like Hyrule Warriors was what the impression I was getting.
Oh, so like a Dynasty Warriors game.
Yeah, that's what it
Even
looked
worse, even worse.
Hey, I mean, people will play it. If you didn't know it was coming out, keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, I'll probably still check it out.
Did you play that One Piece open world game?
No, I didn't. One Piece World Seeker.
Yeah.
It looked cool on the demos, but then I look at it all the time on the PSN store, and it looks kind of trashy, and I haven't heard any good things about it, really. They're just capitalizing on the One Piece fandom, and they'll probably still get me to buy it eventually.
So, the next update that I have, The Rising of the Shield Hero, which we talked about. I freaking love that show.
It's one of my favorites.
Haven't seen it.
You need to watch it. It as well as Demon Slayer, will release their new seasons this year.
Demon Slayer a whole new season or
They'll
just
start.
a movie?
They'll start continuing the story as an anime this year.
Yeah, they'll pick off from Mugen Train.
Yeah,
Okay.
which I did read the manga on that because I had to know
I
what
still haven't
happened.
waited because I've been waiting for the movie.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, but I won't spoil anything. So we have that to be excited about. You guys have any updates in the anime world that are worth mentioning?
Just fuck Attack on Titan.
Are you
Shit
caught
got-
up?
Yeah, I'm caught up, and shit
Oh,
got
shit.
real.
Aaron's completely different, ain't he?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still on his side. To me, he's not in the wrong.
He killed those
But
kids.
I can see how. I mean, they're both technically in the wrong. It's like anytime people in a war decide you're
Sasha.
fighting for.
They did attack first, though.
I mean, it was fucked up that
Marley
little-
attacked first.
What's
so-
that girl's name that shot Sasha? The
Gabby.
little one?
Gabby.
Gabby. Yeah, I don't like her.
What'd you think about that
Falco's
part
pretty
where they're
chill.
yelling, Reiner! Reiner!
Yeah, I mean, it was weird.
That
As
was
soon as it
intense.
started on season 4, I was like, shoot, why does Reiner look so old? And then he was like jumping out of the plane. He was like, not more walls. And I was like, damn, this must be like in the
time
future.
skip
Big
for
time
years.
skip, yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know. I mean, I knew there was going to be a time skip, but I guess I didn't think it was going to start with like the Marlians. Like, we didn't even know it was the Marlians.
Yep.
And it just gave us all their perspective, on Paradise, as they're calling it now.
Yeah, we need to start doing like watching the episode every week and diving deep into every episode because we're all three watching
We
that now
officially
and caught
can
up.
now.
Yeah. So next week we'll start diving in deep for 15, 20 minutes on Attack on Titan now that we're all caught up because chances are our Animob is watching.
Did you guys ever ship Connie and Sasha?
Oh yeah, easily. He was.
I always did too. I don't know.
I mean, they were more like best friends, but
Well, then he
Yeah.
said she was like a sister to me, but then he
Yeah.
also said it was like my other half died.
yep.
Yeah, his twin sister.
Oh yeah, it sucks that Sasha got shot, but
Yeah, they had to kill someone. It just sucks it had to be that way. Like, I would rather her got, with the sacrifice or a Titan. But, I mean, that's
yeah.
how it goes. That's why the show's so good. Like, sometimes you die in war. Like, it is like that.
hmm
Yeah, it's gonna take off from here. You see, as Zeke is actually,
Yeah, working for them.
he's in cahoots, but I
Yeah.
still don't
some way,
trust him.
somehow.
of course, they don't either. But
I don't trust him.
Yeah,
I still want to see Levi kill him.
and then
just to
Aaron
keep
cut his hair,
word.
and
I want to see somebody take the Beast Titan. I want to see what their Beast Titan looks like. It kind of sucks that Aaron is like taking people's powers because he's still gonna look the same. Like
I
he
don't know,
gets
we
their
haven't seen
powers,
him
but he doesn't
use-
get their form.
We haven't seen him use the Warhammer Titan yet, though, because I
yeah,
imagine he'll.
he has. Well,
well,
he
not
hasn't
since
in the
we've
show,
seen, so.
but I'll just say he doesn't change when he uses.
He doesn't
Yeah,
even
no.
get that color.
He keeps his
original
Attack
form.
Titan form,
Okay,
except when he turns into the Founding Titan, and it's completely different.
well,
Well,
There's a
that's
little
a different
teaser
time,
for us.
though. Yeah.
so I watched Spirited Away yesterday. It's fresh on the mind.
Before you even start talking about Spirited Away, what did you know about Studio Ghibli in general? Did you even know that was a studio that did Spirited
I
Away and all
did.
these other
So what I
things?
knew about Studio Ghibli is I immediately associated it with the cat from Totoro, that big
Yeah.
cat that's
well,
famous,
he's not really a cat,
and
but yeah, he's
Ponyo.
Ponyo, yeah.
Like I immediately knew the art style because it does have, and my brother-in-law Rigbo, he plays Nino Kuni on the
Yeah.
Switch. It's the exact same art style,
yeah,
which
the best.
the art
It's
style is
instantly
interesting.
recognizable.
It is. It's very
Yeah,
recognizable.
You know when Ghibli makes it, it's their movie. The way they draw.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Spirited Away. I was recommended to watch this because Brennan told me it was a must. And so I went in with very high expectation. So before we dive in and pick this thing apart, Spirited Away by Studio Ghibli. It was written by Hayao Miyazaki.
He writes pretty much all their movies.
Yeah, he writes all of them. The studio is most famous for the big cat Totoro. So he's not a cat.
I mean, I guess he could be. He's like a forest spirit.
Well,
I don't really
he
know
looks
if
like
he's
a
a
cat. He's
cat.
got a cat tail.
That movie.
They made a cat movie on Netflix. I think it's about him.
No,
It's called
there's
Whisker
another.
Away.
They haven't.
Whisker Away.
I don't think that's by Ghibli
Is it
though.
not?
Probably
It
not.
looks just like.
So this movie, Spirited Away, it was originally released in Japan in 2001, and it grossed over $383 million at the worldwide box office. And it is widely accepted as the greatest anime, one of the greatest anime films ever made to this day.
Yeah, I'm pretty
which
sure
I found very
won.
interesting.
I'm pretty sure he won either
He won a lot of awards.
an Oscar, a Grammy,
Golden Globe.
He didn't show up because I think it was when Bush was president in 2001, right? He was against the war in Iraq, I believe, so he didn't even show up to accept it. But, I mean, that's just how powerful this, animated movie was, how much notoriety it got, with film buffs.
Oh, yeah. So, that's a little backstory. So, I watched this thing, and here are my thoughts right away. Art style, very unique, recognizable. Walt Disney Japan was involved in making this because it's in the opening credits, which I found that to be interesting.
I think at some point they had some sort of deal whenever Disney would produce all the stuff into English, or like they would translate it, and that's how it got over here. I don't think that deal is on anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that they help actually make it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Well, there were the theme park reminded me of Disney World, like Over the Water, Magic Kingdom. But anyways, I want to talk about the voice cast before I go in, because there were some people that I recognized. So the girl that plays Chihiro, her name is Davy Chase. She also played Lilo from Lilo and Stitch. And that's pretty much her only other voice acting gig she's ever had. So she's Lilo in every video game, animated series. She's Lilo.
Do you know if she was a kid when she voiced it, or just
probably
an adult? Well, she hit 2 big ones in consecutive.
Yeah, she hadn't done anything since.
Yeah, she's my age now.
Yep.
Yeah, she was probably about the age of what Chihiro would have been in the movie.
So Haku, he's
Naruto. He uses ice, and then his name was Haku too.
Yeah, his name is.
Should have looked up what that meant.
Haku. So I did actually.
That's
I did
his
look it
given
up.
name by Yubaba, but.
So that voice actor is named Jason Marsden, and he was Max in a Goofy movie. He was also in a ton of Disney stuff, and most of all,
I recognize him.
He played Thackeray Binks in Hocus Pocus.
Binks.
Is that the
cat? He was the cat, but he was also the actor that played Thackeray.
Yeah. Yep.
So not only is this guy an awesome voice actor, he got some screen time.
So you can definitely already see where Disney came in to help.
Oh yeah, and that's not it. There's one more. So the girl that played Lynn, who was a very small role, the roommate of Chihiro.
I just recognize that voice from a lot of things, but who is it?
So her name is Susan Egan. She's Meg from Hercules.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know that.
No chance, no way.
She actually sings that song too.
Yeah,
one of the few.
That's her.
Because most Disney movies, the voice doesn't do the actual singing. In the
of
older
Lynn?
ones.
Yeah, she's Meg.
In the 90s movies, like Mulan, the voice actor wasn't
So
the one
this
who sang
movie,
it.
right off the bat, every single cast person that I mentioned, these were the main 4, Disney. So they're all pulling from the same pool of voice actors. I just thought that was interesting.
What'd you think about their performances?
All of them incredible. I liked the English dub. I didn't watch it in Japanese.
Yep.
I watched the dub too.
I thought it was great.
So I actually watched the dub probably 2 times, and then here and there. My girlfriend's a big fan of it. I actually watched it with her the first time, but since we knew you watched it, we threw that thing on last night, but actually watched it in the Japanese for the first time.
How was that?
It was good. I don't know if I like it better than the English, because the English kind of has that spot in my heart now. But some of the translation does get lost in the English. Like some of the conversations were tweaked a little bit differently for sure. Which can be expected anytime anything gets dubbed, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so let's dive into this. So I'm just going to read through my notes that I have. And I was typing these up as I was watching it.
I'll say this before you even go. I recommended Spirited Away because it's probably the most popular one. Totoro's the most popular image, but Spirited Away is probably the most popular movie. And I know there's a lot of other good ones, and I may talk about a few of those, especially later on in the podcast. But to me, it's just unlike any other movie that I've ever seen, just like the storyline. And the more I've watched it, I'm like, man, it's a really unique movie. So I figured that, it being the most popular would be a good one for us to talk about on the podcast first.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely
I'm not
interesting.
saying it's the best, because I know a lot of people get mad because people think there's more than Spirited Away with Ghibli. And there is, but we're going to talk about Spirited Away today.
Yep. So buckle up. So it starts off, family of 3 moving to a new place. Not a storyline I haven't seen before. The daughter, Chihiro, she isn't happy about it. Dad wants to check out a fake building. Of course, the dad wants us to check out a fake building. It turns out it's fake. This old building is made of plaster. So I'm like, it's a theme park. Like I picked it up immediately. Also, the little statue in front of the building, it looks like one of the statues from Breath of the Wild.
Those little frog-looking character guys.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild, if you played that, those things are everywhere. So they go through this little tunnel. It looks like a church inside. They come out, and open field everywhere. Another thing I noticed in the beginning is the mom is kind of a biatch to Chihiro. She's like, keep up.
I think it's because it's supposed to we're supposed to see it from Chihiro's perspective, and to her parents are just moving on. And then also, you know how parents are, they think there's no danger. I actually talked about this with Darby in bed last night. How it's like, nothing's going to happen. Like, come on, you're being a kid. And that's how they felt. But go on, because I do think your parents were kind of dumb.
They were. So they're wandering through this empty amusement park because they smell food. The dad does. He's like, oh my gosh, you guys smell that? I'm hungry. So they find all this food at a little hut. And these idiots start eating without anyone even being there.
Yeah.
He's got credit cards and cash, though.
I mean, I'm immediately like, this is not something anybody would do. You wouldn't just grab a plate and say, oh, we'll leave food. You would wait. So they start eating, and they're chowing. And at this point, I know something's wrong. And I'm wondering what the hell is going on here. Mm-hmm. So the little girl's still scared, and she's like, you guys, what are you doing? You know, what's going on here? And then they're really chowing. Like, you can tell that they're being possessed by something. So this is whenever I was like, okay, finally, this is getting interesting. Something's happening here. So she's scared. Chihiro, she runs away from her parents, which she goes from scared to all of a sudden she's going to go wander around while her parents chow down. And she's on this bridge, and this creepy-ass bowl cut guy, she turns around, she sees this creepy-ass bowl cut guy behind her, and he says, you shouldn't be here. I found that to be pretty creepy right away.
His voice is more manly, and
I thought it was a girl at first too.
He sounds in the Japanese version. In the Japanese version, he sounds more like a kid to me, whereas he sounds like
it's pretty deep
very
in the
stern
dub.
teenager in the dub.
Yeah, I thought it was a girl at first. Even after hearing that his name was Haku, I didn't pick up on that it was a guy.
That's
even
a trap
said notes,
name.
This dude looks like a girl. He says she has to get across the river before nighttime. She obviously doesn't make it. So she goes back to where her mom and dad were, and at this point, they're literally effing pigs.
Yeah, that would, if this movie came out in 2001, that would, if you were watching this when you're 11 years old, you're probably like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell is this turning into?
And another
Especially
thing
for
about
an
this
animated movie, like to start off like so simple with like the beautiful music coming in one
beautiful
summer's
animation.
day, yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like boom,
There's some
they're
pigs,
grossed out pigs.
Pigs with a flat top.
Yeah, and this movie I was reading, it was created for 10-year-old girls. That was the audience he had in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're literally pigs at this point, and I'm like, what in the heck? Then a frog comes out, like he's the chef, and he slaps the shit out of the dad pig with a fly swatter, and he falls out of his bar stool. And then she just runs away. Like, his dad just got the shit slapped out of him with a fly swatter from
Well,
a
I don't
pig.
think she didn't really believe.
Because all the black spirits or whatever spirits started
she
showing
had-
up because it was nighttime. So
she
didn't
had an
know what was going
idea
on.
that those were her parents, but at the same time, it's like, my parents aren't pigs. So she ran away, and then she even later asked Haku, like, was that really my parents?
Yep.
So I think she bailed, kind of like, oh, that's
Maybe
not
you're
that.
right,
Those
yeah.
are some pigs. But like in her head, she was like, well, they were here.
So she runs away. She hides. She starts fading. And this guy that looks like a girl, I still didn't know his name at this point, he gives her something to eat. He says, eat this. It'll make sure you don't disappear. You have to eat something of this world. So he gives her like a berry. And then he says, see, you're fine now. And they touch hands. So immediately I'm thinking, okay, these guys are connected. Because he also knew her name. He called her Chihiro.
Yeah, he
And
said,
she
I've known you
wondered
since
why.
I've known you since you were young.
Yeah, he said, I'm your friend. So then there's a bird flying overhead, and it has the face of an ugly hag.
Yeah,
And it says, he says, it's looking for you. So they're running. He has some kind of magical power, and he leads her through this place with a ton of pigs. So they get to the bridge.
Before you get to that, every time we watch it, me and Darby both try to hold our breath as she goes across the bridge.
It's not that long.
It's not, and I make it every time.
Yeah, it is not that long.
But for a 10-year-old under pressure,
Yeah,
props.
and that frog scared her, I think.
Yeah, she didn't make it because of that.
Yeah, so he says you have to hold your breath, even a tiny breath, they'll smell you. So they're walking across, and this little frog stops and says, "Master Haku!" And she blows it. She breathes. He throws like a little orb around this frog and freezes it, knocks him out, and then they run away. So now we know he has powers. He tells her all of these things that she has to do because he's clearly got a job. Everybody's looking for him. They're looking for a human now. Everybody's calling him Master Haku.
Yeah, you can tell he's somebody important within this society
somebody
or world.
He knows how the world works. And so he tells her, find the man named Kamaji and get him to give you a job.
And don't take no for an answer.
Don't take no for an answer. And so that's basically all it tells her before he literally ditches her.
In the Japanese version, I know he'll say like, and they'll try to trick you into leaving, but don't.
Yeah, they said that in the English too.
Yeah, he said that.
And he also says the last thing that he says to her is, and remember, I'm your friend.
Yep.
So that becomes important later on because you start to think, what's this guy's motives?
He's a little dick later on.
Yeah. So she finds Kamaji after going down these stairs, and she's very scared. A step breaks, she runs all the way down, and this Kamaji guy, he's literally a man spider. He is a man spider, and he looks like the Eggman from Sonic and the Hedgehog.
Yeah, he does.
He looks just like him. And
Side note, the suit, those little suit things that were...
The loots?
The suit, they were putting the coal and stuff in there. They're also in Totoro.
I feel like I've seen them in video games, too.
I've seen them in other anime, I think.
They may be in other Ghibli films, but I know they're in Totoro. They move into a new house, and they, like, represent spirits, so they think the house is haunted, and one of the kids can, like, see them moving around.
Those things were legit.
Yeah, they're pretty funny, too.
Yeah, I thought it was comical that Kamaji looked just like Eggman, but with 6 arms. From Sonic and the Hedgehog, for all you Hedgehog fans out there. So she asks him for a job. He's basically like, nope. I've got all the help I need because he's got all those suits under a spell helping him. And long story short, one of the suits drops a rock. She helps pick it up, and now all the suits are going to revolt. And they're like, well, I ain't doing my job if they don't have to do theirs. So they all drop their...
Dropping rocks, getting crushed because she finished the job.
Let her finish it.
Yeah, so she tosses a coal in the fire, and I thought it was weird that she was picking this thing up, that rock, like it weighed 60 pounds.
I think it probably did. I think it was heavier than it looked. Probably not 60 pounds, but like...
But she was carrying it like we would carry a 5-gallon thing of paint. Like, but you carry it low between your legs. Like, she didn't just pick it up with her hand. She used 2 hands, was bent over with bend in her knee the whole time.
I'm thinking it was heavy, but it's like at the same time.
It was cold, though. It had to be cold.
I know what he's doing down there. He's the one who...
He runs
a little
all
bit
the
ahead.
hot water.
He's the one
water.
who runs all the herbs and stuff to whatever bath they drop down.
Yeah.
So that's why. Yeah, but I'm guessing it's coal too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or steel or some type of something.
So then the bugs, they all start dropping their rocks, but it all gets worked out, and Sen comes. No, not Sen. Lin. She comes in, and basically Kamaji's changed his mind. He's like, okay, go talk to Yubaba. Lin.
He says this is my granddaughter.
Yeah.
Which I don't get that part. I think
yeah, they don't explain that.
Just stick his neck out for her.
Yeah,
he ended
basically
up
saying,
her,
hey, she's cool.
Yeah.
And Haku must have known he was, would be willing to help her if she tried hard enough. Yeah. And he did.
He'll put on an act, but he's a softie.
Yeah. So I found that interesting that he said my granddaughter. But
yeah, because my first time through, I was like, oh, she's connected to this world somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a dead-end street, her being his granddaughter.
Yeah. And so he says, take her to Yubaba. And right away, with a name like Yubaba, you know whoever this is, man or woman, they ugly. You don't have a name like Yubaba and have any sort of countenance in your favor. So,
I like how her head was the same size as the
Yubaba?
Chichiro, yeah.
Her head was bigger than her body.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nose,
She was huge.
Yubaba,
Her nose was
And
freaking
giant
huge.
eyes. I mean, it's good, freaking sweet character design.
Yeah.
It
Like,
was.
I'd always remember seeing her, like, even before I'd ever watched Spirit Away. Like,
I've never
obviously
seen that
her
lady before.
and then No Face, too, but I'd never seen Chihiro, or I didn't know who that was until
Kayanashi,
I
No
watched
Face.
the movie.
Yeah. So she goes up, talks to Yubaba, and I guess begs for a job until she basically, I guess that Yubaba is contracted. She signed a deal to where anybody that asks for a job, she has to give him one. Even though she tries to talk him out of it. So she gives her a contract. Chihiro signs it. And then the way that she gets people to be their slave, basically, is she takes their name. That's how she controls them. So she changes Chihiro's name to Sen. And I looked up, Chihiro meant like 1,000 ways or something, and a few other things, and Sen means something different, and I can't recall what it was. So the beginning, I took all those notes in the beginning, because at this point you really have no idea what the heck's going on.
That's what I mean. Like, that's why
it's interesting,
especially for like, since it's classified as a kids movie, like, and you literally, as an adult, when you've seen all these movies, and a lot of times even like regular movies, you can kind of know where things are going. Like, you don't get surprised very often, but it does a good job. Like, you really just don't know what's going to happen or what the point is at this point.
Yep.
And it's a long animated movie. It's over 2 hours.
Yeah,
long.
It was 2 hours and 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I was like, dang, I thought this was like an hour 15 minutes. Because to me, it just kind of moved that fast.
Because you're in the dark for the first 45 minutes.
Pace is really good, for me at least.
So she gets the signature. She's a contracted worker. And her roommate's going to be Lin. And Haku takes her back down the elevator. And she says, Haku, she tries to talk to him, and he says, don't talk to me and call me Master Haku. So now she's thinking, what's this guy's problem? Is he really my friend?
She even asked Lin later if there's two Hakus.
And Lin says Haku is Yunaba's.
Yubaba.
Yeah, he said
Yubaba.
One Haku's enough.
Yeah, one Haku's enough. So I guess Haku doesn't have a great reputation among all the other people. So now, as a viewer, you're wondering, can we trust this guy? But he comes to her at night when she's sleeping, whispers in her ear somehow, meet me on the other side of the bridge in the morning. So she goes down there, and this is the first time they show us the no-face person. She walks past him just before passing the bridge. And I gotta be honest, okay, I'll get to that. So she talks to Haku. He tells her to hold on to your clothes, hold on to this thing, don't forget your name. Because she'd already forgot, one day later, she'd already forgotten her name was Chihiro. She thought it was Sen. And he told her that that's the secret to getting out, is to remember who you are. And she also had to remember who her parents were and recognize which pigs they were.
Recognize which pig they are.
So now I want to talk about the no-face person.
Before that, what did you think about that scene whenever he gave her the rice cakes and she ate them?
She ate all three of them.
Yeah,
she was crying. He said that these are bound with spells to give you back your strength. Yeah. And she ate one. She started pouring out crying. I have no idea what that means.
It was just very poignant, I thought. Because like at that time, she kind of just kept going. She didn't really have time to think about everything that happened to her.
I mean, she's developing as a character at this point.
I mean, she's
10 on her own. She's got one person she can trust.
And it's just crazy to think about.
The amount of time she's there in that world.
Yeah. Well, you're assuming it's one night, but...
Yeah, you don't know. Because I know we're talking about it, but when they leave, you don't...
The grass is all grown out.
Everything's changed from when they entered.
So, was there anything to the rice cakes?
No, I just thought it was a very poignant scene to me. Just
her tears falling out were huge. Those were the biggest tears I've ever seen.
It kind of reminded me of the scene from Haikyuu, after they lose the Albajosai.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all eating and they cry.
Yep, you're right.
It's kind of just one of those things, like how food's like comforting in that way.
Yeah, that was a good scene. It's ingrained in my mind. I've only seen the movie once. So after leaving, this is when she first notices that Haku is a dragon, because he changes form and he flies away.
Yeah, she does. I didn't know if she knew it was him, but she definitely saw the dragon in the air. I didn't know if she said, is that Haku, or just noted a dragon's in the air.
Yep. So we see she goes back into the bathhouse, and now let's jump forward a little bit. I don't remember the part where she invites the faceless.
So she was...
He's sitting out there in the rain on a side door, and she says, you can come in if you want. Yeah.
Okay.
And she said, I'll leave this open for you, and that was her saying, I'm leaving the door open for you. That was her inviting him in.
Yeah, he has to be invited to come in, I guess, because he's not a spirit, he's a monster.
That stinky soul didn't get invited in.
I know, but he didn't. I don't know why No Face can't go in, but they just don't want the stink spirits to come in. But
yeah, but he wasn't actually a stink spirit. He was
a river spirit. He was a river spirit that was polluted.
See
that makes sense now, because everything poured out of him.
Yep.
What movie have you ever seen where a good scene is them giving somebody a bath?
That's true.
It's kind of interesting. Like they pull the lever and they're like trying to clean it.
It was satisfying.
Yeah, and then she
and like
finds
watching
the bike.
all of the stink water just pour out of him and like fill the bathhouse, and you're like, how are these
Yeah.
people going to clean this mess up? This is going to ruin your establishment. The whole place is flooded with this guy's stink.
Yeah, because when you see the stink coming in, there's no way you'll be like, oh, that's going to be some spirit. It's just like another one of those things, like it's not going to meet any of your expectations in that way.
Yeah. It was also interesting after they found out it wasn't a stink spirit and it was actually an old river spirit with tons of treasure and pollution, basically,
Yeah.
that Yubaba was nice to Chihiro, and she said, great job, everyone be more like Chihiro. So now I'm thinking...
Sen,
yeah. Everyone be more like Sen. So I'm thinking, maybe this girl's not so bad. Maybe she's nice. Maybe she's not a slave driver.
that's when you first see how those little frogs and frog ladies, they're little fiends for the gold.
Yes.
I want to know, like, you see, like, all the females and the males they look like frogs.
Yeah.
But then Lynn, she looks more like
she's
a
a
human.
she's a little froggy looking, but not as some of
She's
the...
definitely more human looking.
Yeah,
so I was
compared to those
wondering,
other
like,
girls.
what makes them different.
She might have been a human at one point.
That's
like,
what I was wondering.
Like Haku and
Yeah,
like...
we don't know.
Or I guess Haku wasn't, but...
Yeah, because even he looked like one until you see him transform.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
never see Lynn.
She probably just forgot who she was and doesn't think she's a human.
Maybe.
So, this stink thing that comes in, I kept thinking it looked just like Muck, the Pokemon.
I thought that.
The purple one?
Yeah, the purple one. Looked like Muck. But they give it a bath, and then the next big thing that happens is the No Face. So No Face gave her all the tokens, the herbal
In the
tokens,
first
to be
place,
able to
yeah.
even clean this thing.
Yeah.
And then they find all the gold, and this at night, one of the frogs sneaks back in there, and he's looking for gold in the cracks of
He's
the
got a
wood floor.
freaking little toothpick and he's scraping it out for anything.
Yep. And so No Face comes out of the bath, opens his hand, and starts creating the gold from nothing, basically.
And
What
this dude
the
gets a
heck?
straight boner from it too.
He was pumped. He was like, I can have this? And so as soon as he takes some gold from him, No Face eats him.
That's how he started using his voice.
Yep.
Yeah, he started using his
And
voice
gained
and
the
going
ability
crazy.
to speak. And then when the other frogs come, they recognize the voice, but they just say, "Fuck it, this dude's giving
He's
gold."
giving out gold like
Yeah,
crazy.
they let it go.
So what was the deal with that? No Face kept trying to give Sen stuff.
I think
But
because
she wouldn't
he was,
take it.
I think it's because he was nice to her.
Yeah,
and
she
he
was
trying
nice
to
to him.
return the favor, but she wasn't interested in those things.
But like, would he have eaten her if she did take it like everyone else?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. I think he just actually liked her, but it's weird because Chihiro also says like he needs to get out of there. It's not good for him. But that's kind of why.
Yeah,
It's one of
'cause
those
he
movies you
reverts
gotta keep
back.
watching. I don't know why what in that bathhouse makes him like that, where he
Yeah.
eats people and goes on a rampage. Because he was going glutton mode too.
He was like full on 4-legged beast,
Yeah.
crashing into walls, chasing her down the stairs with malevolence.
Yeah, that scene's sweet too.
Yeah. But let's talk about whenever we see Haku come back as a dragon in the morning. He's being chased. At first, I thought he was flying with the little paper doves,
Mhm.
like he was making, like a beautiful scenery. And then you quickly find out, no, he's being attacked by these things. What were those?
Those were from Zeniba.
Zeniba?
Yeah, the twin sister. From,
He stole something from her, so that
Yaba.
was the curse she put on him.
Yeah, so she was trying to get back the golden token or whatever she's
Mhm.
took.
Yeah,
Or
okay.
Haku took from her.
That was sad when he came in all bloody, and then she had to scale the whole tower to get back up to him, and the baby. So she goes in the baby's room, and the baby's like, "Play with me, or I'll break your arm."
Yeah,
And if she's like, "I'll come play with you later. I have to help my friend." She's like, "No, play with me now,
or I'll cry.
or I'll cry, and my mama will come." But they end up saving Haku, or Haku saves them as they're falling
Yeah.
down to that pit.
Yeah,
they
they
land
fall with
over there by
Kamaji.
Kamaji.
Yeah, and the twin sister turns the baby and that owl lady
Yeah,
It's
the
the
ugly
crow.
hag crow.
Ugly
It's
old
the crow, yeah.
into like a nice little pet.
A hamster and like a little fly.
Yeah, and then they just hang around with Chichiro.
Yeah. So then they go so she's going to embark off to Zeniba's, and we kind of skipped around a little bit, but there's a lot to this movie, and we don't want to take 2 hours.
It is.
So,
And which that scene's kind of famous, the No Facing her on the train.
That was the best
Yeah.
part of the movie. I kept thinking that he was going to be more significant, though.
Yeah, he's
No
kind of
Face-
just like there, and then like
He
No
doesn't
Face,
serve
he's
a
a big
purpose.
part of that movie
Yeah.
because when you see that, you're like, oh, he's from Spirited Away.
He's an iconic part of the movie, but he
Yeah.
really served no purpose other
Yeah.
than she was good to him.
He
we don't
just
know a
liked-
whole lot
yeah.
about him either.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
I
I'm
read
sure there's deeper meanings because
when
just
he
like
ate the frog spirit. I guess after he ate him, he gained his corruptive properties soon after with the negative
Oh.
qualities of the frog spirit, and so that made him like demand a bath and conjuring gold.
that makes more
So,
sense
yeah.
because all those things.
So I
all
guess
those little
whatever
frogs
he
were
eats,
greedy
he
as hell.
gains those personalities of that person.
Oh, okay. Well, he has a happy ending because we go to Zaniba's. She's a really nice lady. She's like, call me Granny. And then he ends up staying with her to be a good hand for her. So they go back. Haku meets her there also because he wakes up. He's fine.
From that little pill she gave him.
Yep.
She gave half to someone else, right?
She gave half to the
to
No
No
Face.
Face, yeah, and then the other half to Haku.
To Haku. So she's riding Haku back to Yubaba's. And Haku's cut a deal with Yubaba, that she'll let Sen, aka Chihiro, go on one condition. And we don't know what the condition is at this point. So she's riding back with Haku. He's in his dragon form, and she's getting flashbacks of being in the water. And so you know something's about to happen. This part was legit. She remembers when she was a little kid, she was drowning in a river, and the river washed her up ashore
To the shallows, yeah.
to the shallow side. And it was called the Kahaku River.
Yep, the Kohaku it's Nigihayami Kohaku Nushi, but just the Kohaku River for short.
And so as soon as she says, you're the Kahaku River, he basically turns into glass and shatters. And he starts falling in his human form.
Yeah, classic free fall scene.
Yeah. And so
Kingdom Hearts-esque.
that explains how they're connected. He saved her. That's why he knew who she was. He saved her as the river spirit. And we find out that the reason he couldn't go home all along is because that river that he was, it got an apartment
Built
complex put on it.
Yeah, it's underground
And he
now.
forgot his name.
He forgot that he was a river and he had nowhere to go home to anyways.
Well, also
The river's gone.
lots of young spirits want to be an apprentice of Yubaba too. So at one point he probably willingly went there, but they lose themselves during that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they touched on that in the English dub
Because he
or not.
forgot his name because she said don't. Because he told
Yeah, he-
her.
Yeah, he
saying,
told
said,
her.
I
I can't
can't
remember
forget your
mine.
name.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he was the Kahaku River. And so wrapping up, they go back. Yubaba's waiting for them at the bridge. The baby turns from the mouse back into the baby, and she's sticking up for Chihiro. She says, or the baby says, and the baby's name is Bo.
Mm-hmm.
If you make her cry, Mom, I'll never forgive you, or I'll hate you forever.
Yeah.
And despite that, Chihiro is like, I'll take your test. And so the test is, I think there were 6 pigs or 8 pigs, and Chihiro has to guess which of those pigs are her parents. And it's kind of a ending I guessed. I knew it was going to be the answer was going to be like, my parents aren't there, but Chihiro says, there must be some mistake. None of these are my parents. And Yubaba's like, is that your answer? She's like, yes. Boom, they disappear. They all turn into frogs. She
They all
was
start
right.
cheering.
They all start cheering. And she talks to Haku one last time and walks her across the bridge. And her parents were waiting for her
Yeah.
already. Which kind of makes you think, like, was all this in her head?
I mean, I guess that's the age-old question with any movie or something
She's a
out-of-worldly
10-year-old girl.
happens. It was all a dream.
But I was looking, after I watched it, this is how I felt, my intake. Left me a little bit confused as to why it is such a successful movie. It was good, but I will probably never watch it again, and I'm not sure if I would recommend it to anyone. Now, that's how I felt before I started Googling why it's so good. And some of the reasons of why it's so famous, they resonated with me, and I've since changed my opinion. One of the reasons why it's so famous is because how they mix reality with spiritual and fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
All of the animation throughout, it's all hand-drawn, and it tells the story of how there's no one character in the entire film that is truly bad or truly good. It shows that everybody is capable of good and everybody is capable of bad, which I thought that was pretty cool.
And you'll see with almost every Ghibli movie, you're you're gonna have more questions than answers when you get out. It's kind of like that. They leave the interpretation up to you. And there's also lots of research you can do within the movies to see the symbolism and what they mean, like you're talking about. Because I've watched several others, like Howl's Moving Castle. I still don't know what happened in that movie, and I've watched it like twice.
I have not watched that one.
But
But
overall,
Spirited Away, of the ones I have seen,
What's the other one about the Beast Girl?
Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
Now that one, I think you guys are just like, because it kind of is more along the lines of just like an actual anime, I guess. So maybe that would be a good one to do next. Mononoke is really good. And then Howl's is really popular. Totoro, personally, wasn't my favorite of the big ones, I guess. And we've actually seen some Ghibli movies. We just didn't know they were Ghibli movies. There's one called Kiki's Delivery Service. It's like a witch girl who like starts a delivery service. And I know we've seen it when we were kids. I watched it with Darby. And then one scene came up where this guy says, "That's my broom, you know." She's on TV. And I just remember that scene. We used to think it was funny when we were kids.
Oh, I don't remember that, but yeah, they've made a lot of things. They have a very recognizable art style, and overall, I thought it was a great movie. It was definitely unlike anything I've ever watched before. It didn't even feel like anime. Like it's only anime because it was Japanese,
it's hand drawn, yes,
hand drawn.
Yeah,
but
they look
it was fun to watch.
Way different than any of like most anime characters. I don't know if it's the round eyes, but they stand out a lot.
They do
for sure. Softer edges, I guess. Most anime characters have very sharp jaw lines and muscles.
Yep, and hard shading.
Yeah,
everything was very
definitely
soft and colorful. But yeah, Spirited Away. If you haven't seen it, now you've seen it. We just broke it down. Overall, I get why it is such a cult classic. Like, it's got a huge cult following.
Scale of 1 to 100. What do you give it?
If I... So after watching
Objectively.
Before reading all of the aftermath reasons why I should like it, I would have given it a 60.
Ooh, a D?
Yeah.
Objectively?
What
just
like
personally?
As a viewer enjoying a movie.
Okay. What about personally? How it struck with you?
Now, I would give it personally, like, I would watch it again because I'd want to go back and see all of these different layers that I wasn't able to pick up on. So I'd give it a B now.
Yeah. I always liked it more looking back on it and watching it again. Colton, what about you? Objectively and personally?
Objectively, animation-wise, it's everything you'd want. I mean, it's all hand-drawn, like you said.
Yeah.
I give it both objectively and personally, I give it an 85.
Yeah, I was thinking objectively for me, just on what this movie is and what it's supposed to be, I would give it an 88. I don't know why I can't give it, the 9 out of 10, but pretty damn close. And then for me, it's probably about an 88 or 90. I like it a lot, but it's not like the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, my biggest issue with it was I was waiting for the no face to be a bigger thing than it was, and it really wasn't, and so that kind of.
And you'll see that with Totoro too. Like he's in it, but it's like you don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
Or like he doesn't say anything. He doesn't affect the plot in any way. It's just like iconic characters, I guess. Yeah. Kind of like how Disney will put the little big-eyed things in the most recent one to be their mascot to sell money off of.
Oh yeah.
They throw things in there like that, like merchandise.
Yep.
I feel like Ghibli has one of those from every movie. Not to say they're doing that on purpose. It just kind of happens.
Yep, like the
Disney does that on purpose.
The pet companion.
Though. Yeah, the pet companion.
Yeah, you got Olaf. You got that little lizard
salamander.
from Tangled.
Yep.
Yeah, Baby Yoda.
Yep.
Yeah, all that stuff.
So, are we ready to transition back into the meat and potatoes? Some more anime stuff. Talk about the old big three.
Let's do it.
All right. So the old big three. These are not up for debate. I looked them up. These are written in stone.
Facts.
If you got things to say about it,
it's already set.
Don't send them to us.
It's written in stone.
Yeah, it's written in stone. If you got things to say about it, take it up with the people that came up with the ranking.
On Reddit or something.
Yeah, Reddit's the place for you. Don't email us about it. So, the big three are Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece.
I agree.
And so, looking these up, these are probably the ones I would have guessed. But I still wanted to know, why are these the main three? And before I I come up with, or I tell you what I found in looking them up, why do you think, Brennan, these are considered the big three?
I mean, it's just the pure success they had in the run they had as first manga and then second as an anime. I mean, there's still, I mean, One Piece is still going, but I don't think there's any, I mean, what's that one with the gray-haired swordsman? His is going on pretty long. I can't
Black
think of
Clover?
the name. No, it's an older one. It's like a long-running
Oh.
one that a lot of people don't.
Komitsu. I know which one you're talking about.
We'll look it up in a second, but just the long-term success. I mean, they were just freaking massive. Their record sales and manga just for years, though, not 3-5 years, like over a decade. These things were like the front runners, and that's how they got the name the Big Three, because of that long-running success.
So you think it had to do a little bit with how they were long-running shows?
To me, that's the main thing, because anything can blow up for a year or two, but just like Marvel's, like they've been long-running. Like there's been movies that have probably made as much as other Marvel movies individually, but as an accumulative.
I agree. I think that's why in the...
You're talking about Gintama.
Yeah, Gintama.
Yeah. So
Sorry
I
to leave out any Gintama fans, but it ain't a big three.
Nope. So I do think that you're right, that long running is what put them there, because you can only be invested into something that you have spent a ton of time in. Like we talked about a few weeks ago, Naruto, when you finish a show like that, or when you finish One Piece, the amount of time you've invested in that show and how much you know about each character, that's what makes you want to recommend it to other people, because you've spent so much time learning and watching and rooting for these people.
Mm-hmm. That's where the term Narutards came from, because anybody who loves Naruto can't let it go.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it till we die.
I mean, I probably will. I can't tell you how many times I've watched Naruto, the last movie. Probably my favorite anime movie of all time, because Naruto was one of the first that I grew up on.
Yeah, that's movie's freaking satisfying as hell to see him grow up and like be an adult and make the step in a relationship. You know, as an adult watching it, it's good to see him. You know, because we know him when he was freaking taking pictures as a clown for his ninja ID card. So it's just you don't get that development in 13 episodes, or 25. You only get that in 800 chapters of manga, or however many it ran for.
What was it? 300 episodes of Naruto, then 500 of Naruto Shippuden.
I don't know how many were canon, but I know without the canon.
Without canon, but total, I think it's 800 or 700. You might.
It's somewhere in that ballpark. A lot of time spent.
Yeah. So Naruto, there's no arguing that one. Bleach. I'm excited about Bleach because I am watching that currently, and I think it is awesome.
Bleach was the first one of the big three that I watched. So
I've
in a lot of ways,
all the manga.
It holds a special place in my heart just because it was, the first long one I watched, and I had no preconceived notions about anime, no stereotypes about it really. So that was the one that kind of, I watched Full Metal Alchemist, but I'm talking long running, 100 episodes plus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say Ichigo definitely develops, but I don't think he develops like Naruto did, or maybe even Luffy.
Yeah. Yep, and then One Piece is the third and final big three. That one's still going, and I guess Bleach is gonna pick up again.
It's supposed to be coming back.
That's exciting.
But I never got into One Piece.
I don't know if One
I've
Piece
tried. I couldn't do it.
It ain't showing any signs of slowing down, really.
Man.
The dude's an animal. He's been writing that shit since he was like 17, nonstop, every week.
He's got his cash cow. He cashed in.
Yeah, might as well just keep writing it.
So, those are the big three: Naruto, Bleach, One Piece. So I looked up what actually made these the big three, and the reason why they're considered the big three is because they are most responsible for pushing anime here to the western part of the world.
For sure.
So, with that definition, it brings up question about these next three that I want to talk about. What about Dragon Ball? What about Pokemon? What about Sailor Moon?
We'll say, so for Dragon Ball, that's just from a different era. The manga came out before we kind of, even the anime we got here.
Shoot,
in
Pokemon
America
though,
first.
you would think
it came out about the same time as Naruto, but
you would think that's
people
super
didn't think
Western.
as that as an anime.
It's just because the cards, the video games, they had so much other media.
It got big mostly because of the cards, not because of the anime.
Yeah, you're right. I just thought that was interesting. Like, most responsible for pushing anime here to the western part of the world.
And then Sailor Moon.
I wasn't watching that.
I remember we watched a few episodes, but none of us were into it. And that may just be because when you're an 8-year-old kid
Yeah.
you don't necessarily want to watch a show about girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you think that's
I mean, we
like,
watched Powderpuff Girls, but only because that was funny.
yeah.
And it was actually a good
And I'm
show.
sure I would like Sailor Moon now, but back then when you're a kid, you know, you're just trying to be manly for whatever reason.
I don't know if I could, because the only reason we watched it because we knew Dragon Ball Z was coming on after
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
we watched it.
Yep. So I thought that was interesting. So those are the old big three. Now, to the main event. Let's talk about, in our opinion, because the new big three, this is debatable. There is an official written in stone, these are the new big three. But I want to talk about, before we even dive into that, I have a list here of the top 25 anime ranked according to ranker.com, which is official. So I'm going to read you should I read all top 25?
Just do 10 probably.
It's
All
the
right.
top 10.
Here are the top 10 in order. Number 1, no surprise, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer. Number 2, My Hero Academia, also no surprise. Number 3, Attack on Titan. Number 4, Jujutsu Kaisen. Number 5, Black Clover. Number 6, One Punch Man. Hell yeah, Saitama. Number 7, Dr. Stone. Number 8, The Rising of the Shield Hero. Number 9, The Seven Deadly Sins. And number 10, The Promised Neverland.
That's a good
Honorable
one, too.
mention, number 11, Haikyuu.
Heck yeah.
So
no,
of
no
those,
Boruto, huh?
no Boruto.
No
Of
One
those,
Piece either.
there are only 2 of the top 10 that I have not watched. Wait, actually, there's only 1.
Have you watched The Promised Neverland?
Okay, 2. Yeah, Promised Neverland I have not watched, and Dr. Stone.
Season 1's on Crunchyroll and Netflix, actually.
Yep, it's a Netflix.
But Season 2's already going, but it's not on Crunchyroll yet because they did not buy the rights. You got to watch that on Funimation right now.
Yeah. So
Piss on that.
those are the top 10. So knowing those top 10, and even not knowing those, let's all tell the audience what we believe our number 1. If we were to pick the new big 3, Colton, what would your number 1 be?
Number 1 for me, it would be My Hero Academia is the new one of the big 3 for number 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd go with Boku no Hero too.
I would have to go with Demon Slayer for number 1. Okay, and my big 3 I'm basing off of what I believe to be the biggest anime shows for the next 5 years, not right now. So like starting from a year ago to 4 years forward, what's going to be the hottest? So that's what I'm building my list off of, not what's hot right now. So I'm saying Demon Slayer for my number 1. You both think My Hero is at the top spot, which is even with Naruto of the old big 3.
Well, I think Naruto, One Piece, I think they interchanged a lot. I don't know if it's just going off anime or manga sales.
The big 3 was considered ranked. Like Naruto was the first of the big 3, then Bleach, then One
was
Piece.
ranked. I thought
Yeah.
during their runs, like it would change week to week. Like,
but
One
it's-
Piece sold more, Naruto sold more. I'm pretty sure Bleach at some point in that run had to hit
So
the top.
cumulative sales.
Okay, I thought One Piece was the most sold comic, like more than Superman or Batman.
Maybe if you're
In the
considering
world.
like cumulative for them because of just strictly how many more
Yeah, they got
volumes.
more chapters. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so
But
you guys
it's-
say My Hero.
Yeah, it's because it's funny now. Like they consider One Piece an old big 3, but it's still going. Why is it still not a big 3?
Yeah.
I almost feel like it's not as popular as it was because either the
Because a
people
lot
that
of people,
were on it
even
are
the
burnt
fans,
out.
are like waiting, like, "Hey, is he going to end this soon?" But he's
Keep
still
it
saying
going,
he's got
man.
another 3 or 4 years in him, maybe more.
Man, it'll be a satisfying end either way.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk number 2s, and then we'll talk about our rankings. So number 2, what is your number 2 spot, Colton?
Mine is going to be Black Clover.
Black Clover. Wow. Okay, Brennan.
Mine's Black Clover too.
Whoa, you don't even watch Black Clover.
I got to base it off of what I've seen and also what's been popular and I'll tell you another one of my qualifications on the third one and why that one's super up for debate, but I think Black Clover has to be in this big 3 just because of how popular the manga is, how many episodes it already have out, because it's
It's only like 60, 71.
It's got to be in the hundreds by
It's
now, right?
It's 170.
Yeah, I mean,
170 is going to be the final one, but it's at 163 right now as of today when the
that's officially
newest episode came out.
That's
Holy
officially
cow.
big time once you
Yeah.
cross the 100 episode barrier.
I didn't know there were that many.
So
I'm
that's-
caught up too.
So you gotta prove you can do it for the long run, and those two have proved that they can do it. For the better part of 70 plus episodes. And I know there's a lot left in My Hero.
Interesting. I would have not guessed that anybody would pick Black Clover. Like, I love Black Clover, but I don't see it being.
And
just
it's on
because-
debate. You can get on Reddit. It's
Just because you said last week it was going to be over in March.
That's what they're saying, but they're doing that more than likely because it's so close to the manga and they don't want to do filler.
So it's not concluding. They're just going to.
They're saying it's ending. There's one of two choices. I've watched a video on YouTube that they may go the movie route with the next arc and finish it, or they're going to wait probably about 2 or 3 years until it continues again. So the manga has a good couple arcs in them.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, my number 2 is My Hero Academia. So I'm shocked that your guys' wasn't Demon Slayer. I thought we were just going to have those interchangeable. Okay. So what is your number 3 of the new big 3, Colton?
It'll be Demon Slayer.
Okay.
I put Demon Slayer with an asterisk. I love Demon Slayer, and to me, it's out of the two I've said, it's better than both of those. But I got to go off what they have out right now. And right now, anime-wise, there's only 25 episodes. And I hear the Mugen Train's good, but we don't know. They could do another 25, and then after that, it could just go to complete shit for all we know. So it's pending to me, the third spot, because part of the big 3 to me also shows the longevity of success.
See, that's why I have Demon Slayer at number 1, is because it's still so new. They have so much more to release, and it's only going to... Like, it already has a giant following.
Yeah, it was, like I
does.
said earlier,
Like,
in
it's
the
giant.
podcast.
And
But I just hold the big
Black
3 in high
Clover's going to be
regard.
wrapping up whenever Demon Slayer is going to be halfway done. I don't know. I like all the shows.
You just got to prove it to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like I said,
'cause-
it's the best one of those 3.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
get me
Just
wrong,
hasn't
the
proved it.
animation and the action and the quality of it's amazing, but yeah, they got 25 episodes. They released the movie, which is number 1 ever in Japan. It beat Spirited Away, grossing it as a number 1 ranked movie of all time.
So what's your third one though, Jordan?
My third one is the sleeper pick. It is The Rising of the Shield Hero. I really believe when people start watching that and it comes out with another slew of episodes, it's going to be big. Just because the story it's kind of like Hunter x Hunter, where it's like dark and there's a clear goal of like what they're trying to accomplish. I'm not going to spoil anything, but
I haven't watched Shield Hero.
I've watched it.
you need
And
to
you
watch
haven't
Rising of
watched-
the Shield Hero.
And you haven't watched Dr. Stone, and I'm, I think, 9 or 10 episodes in, and it's good, and I like it a lot, but I'm not seeing big 3 potential for it.
No,
I'm
definitely.
seeing popularity,
it's
but
it's
not
definitely
big
got
three
its
potential.
science in there, but if you like that stuff and how they do it,
Yeah, isn't
it
his
is pretty
logo
good.
E equals MC squared?
Well,
On his
it's got
shirt.
to. You'll see why he put that there
Yeah,
in the anime.
But
you
yeah.
can get caught easily quick in like 3 days because there's not that many episodes.
Okay, so last week we said our favorite characters in My Hero. Jordan picked All Might, Colton picked Mirio, and I picked the Red Riot. So let's talk about Black Clover, since that was all in ours. Oh, you didn't have Black Clover. Me and Colton did. Who's your favorite character in Black Clover?
Oh, man, I don't want to pick the obvious thing, but I think my favorite character to follow in development is probably Finral.
Finral, I like Finral too.
Is he the
He's the teleport guy, the
Yeah,
taxi.
the pretty one.
Yeah,
Like-
he's got the dyed green hair.
I
He's
haven't
my
seen-
favorite
I haven't seen
character.
as far as you guys, so just say it's Finral. Colton, who's yours?
It's between, I like Asta. I know he's the main character, but it's probably between him and Luck.
Yeah, I
Look.
think I've only seen 53 episodes, but I would probably either go with Captain Yami or just Asta.
What about the fire guy?
The dude who hits the fastballs
Yeah,
with the
what's that
mohawk.
dude's name?
He's funny. He's got the bike broom and everything.
We got.
It's Magna.
Magna, yeah, he's-
I do like Magna, but
What about William Vengeance?
I like Asta. I like how he's overcoming, his
Oh, you know
weaknesses.
who's awesome is Mario Leona Vermilion.
Oh yeah.
Have you gotten far enough to where
I mean,
she's
I
awesome?
haven't seen her. I heard some spoilers about her, but I know she comes in because Fuegoleon loses his arm and is like knocked out.
Yeah.
Fuegoleon's pretty cool too.
I like Julius too when he's the adult form. The kid form is just
Yeah.
That's the thing with these
Wizard
long.
King.
Why I think it's going to be a big three. Just think about all the different factions they have, and we already know characters from different ones, not just the Black Bulls.
Because it's basically a Naruto
Yeah.
copy in a way.
A lot of them are. If you want,
a
if you
lot
want
of
long
animes
term
are these
success,
days,
you
yeah.
copy them. They all pull from each other.
Even the manga writer for Black Clover said, he goes, I looked up to Naruto and its writer. And
They
he
don't
even
have
said,
chakra. They have magic
yeah.
power.
Yeah.
He based it basically off Naruto.
Correction, Katra.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's one of the big three. It's one of my favorite shows right now.
And
I
it's
mean,
getting good. Like the
it is
Spade
getting
Kingdom
good.
arc is
We
freaking
still don't
awesome.
know what the hell. Well, you're not caught up.
I mean, I've seen 53, and like I'm already saying it's good enough to me. And
You've
that's
only
not
seen
even that many.
53 episodes?
53 episodes is all I've seen. and
You
I'm
still got
saying-
100 left.
You don't know anything.
But I've known before when it was airing, like the first couple episodes, the people that read the manga were hype as shit. So it already had that kind of hype going into it.
Man. Okay, well, you've got our big three. They're highly debatable. If you want to send us your list of big three and why, send us an email, thatanimepod@gmail.com.
IG, that anime podcast.
Yeah, message us on IG too. That's Instagram. Thanks for listening today. And we like I said, every Monday we'll have these shows ready for you. Thanks for tuning in. Again, my name is Jordo.
I'm Brennan.
Colton.
Peace.